Hey guys, how are we doing today? Yeah, I actually have another review for you today. This one's going to be actually in the Burberry house. And a lot of you guys know that I'm a pretty big fan of Burberry's London. It's one of my all-time favorite fragrances. It's one of only two fragrances actually that I've rated a 9.5 overall out of 10. Well, today I have another Burberry offering for you, and today's offering from Burberry is going to be Burberry's Touch for men. Now let me first get into the presentation of this. It does have that plaid box that Burberry's ever so famous for. And I'm kind of unwinding it. A little bit of a curveball there. Actually, I think that's pretty neat. I've never seen a presentation quite like that for a fragrance. But to the bottle. Bottle here is actually pretty nice. It's very simple, but it fits extremely well in your hand. Actually has a nice little rosewood cap on there as well. It's very heavy glass. The bottle definitely is a very nice bottle. Might not be the most unique thing in the world, but it actually is one of my favorite bottles. But now time to what matters, and that is the juice inside Burberry's Touch. I'll first get into the notes. The notes we actually have as top notes are violets and mandarin. The middle notes, or the heart notes, are pepper, Virginia wood, and oak moss. Then it rounds out the dry down or the base notes with vetiver, white musk, and tonka bean. Now, as far as the development of this particular fragrance, okay, when you first apply this, you'll get a somewhat refreshing, soapy, powdery violet in here. Now, if you're not sure what a violet actually is a flower. Most of you probably knew that, but a violet's actually that little purple flower. Not to be confused with a lilac, though. And right now I can probably imagine what you guys are thinking. You're probably like, Tim, what the hell, dude? You know a lot about flowers? Yes, I do know a lot about flowers. My mom was very big into gardening when I was a kid, so I can tell the difference between a zinnia, a lilac, a violet, a daffodil, a lily, a daisy, all these different types of flowers. So don't beat me up too bad for that, an iris. But yeah. Back to this. So we open up with that refreshing, powdery, soapy violet. As it starts to get into the heart of the fragrance, the notes are pepper, Virginia wood, and oak moss. Let me first start off by saying oak moss is one of my all-time favorite notes to a fragrance. So if a fragrance has oak moss in it, I generally get pretty excited. I'm like, yeah, oak moss, yeah, I love that note. But this, unfortunately, does not have any oak moss in it. But what you do get is that pepper and that Virginia wood. Now, some of you might be thinking, you're like, oh god, pepper, I hope it's not overdone, where it might be for someone you'd think they'd be a much, much more mature, or a pepper that'd make you sneeze. This pepper is actually extremely well done. It's barely detectable, almost like an undertone, you could say, with that Virginia wood. But you still have that violet hanging around in there. So the heart of this starts to blend those violets, that pepper, and that Virginia wood. The violets still dominate in this part of the fragrance though, and this is the heart we're talking about. But for the dry down, or the base notes of this particular fragrance, we have vetiver, white musk, and tonka bean. Now first off, if you're looking for a vetiver fragrance, this is not it. The vetiver is barely present at all, at least on my skin, in Burberry's Touch. But what you do get is that musk and that tonka bean. And the violet in here is very, very, very slight. It's there just enough that you can tell it's there, but you kind of have to really smell for it. So really the end of this fragrance, or the dry down, starts to become a semi-sweet floral musk. Now, this semi-sweet floral musk is extremely nice. It's actually one of my favorite musk's dry downs, because musk is a strange note to me. Sometimes I love it, sometimes it's the exact opposite and I can't stand it. This is definitely a type of musk I like. Like I said, that semi-sweet, powdery, floral musk. Now, this is pretty much a violet-dominated fragrance, and it isn't a masculine floral like, say, in Chanel's Egoist. This floral in here could definitely be worn by a woman, which actually could make this a unisex fragrance. even though it is particularly marketed for men. But really, fragrance has no gender. Just certain things will smell, sorry about that, certain things will smell more masculine, certain things will smell more feminine. This is definitely in the unisex side. But to apply Burberry's Touch. Now I have this certain thing when it comes to me in fragrances. If something's soapy and powdery, it can become cloying to me very easily. Particularly if I apply it anywhere directly under my nose. So like right on my neck. So I have to apply this a special way, and I'll show you how. First off, this does spritz a lot. I'll kind of give you a little preview right here. Right there. So you can definitely see that was a lot of juice that came out of this. Now what you want to do is spray one on the wrist, put it directly underneath that pulse point on your neck. Spray another one on the other wrist, put it directly underneath that pulse point, and then spray one on the chest, and you should be just fine. Now if soapy or powdery fragrances aren't that cloying to you, you could easily just spray one on the neck and one on each wrist and you would be fine. But to me, like I said, they're a little bit, they can mess with my nose a little bit. They can drive me a little nuts if it's right underneath here. But yeah, as far as the projection or the sillage and longevity of Burberry's Touch, both are moderate, I'd say. Now as far as the sillage, Touch is probably a good name for this fragrance because you have to come close and the fragrance won't really project for you. It's a very subtle fragrance. It'll kind of touch whoever is close to you's nose. They'll notice it, but it won't be primarily dominant shotgun type fragrance to you. As far as the longevity of it though goes, it varies often, but I usually get at least 6 or 7 hours out of Burberry's Touch, with like I said, the sillage being pretty minimal. So this is really meant for you and the people who are very close to you to enjoy. Don't expect a ton of people to notice this fragrance. But I can tell you this, when this fragrance does get noticed, it does seem to get a lot of compliments. And I think a lot of that's due to the fact that it's just so different, that any of that of just violet in there just kind of really catches attention if it catches somebody's nose. But as far as my overall rating for Burberry's Touch goes, I'm probably going to have to give this a rock solid 8 out of 10. The opening of this is above average. It won't blow you away, but it's above average opening, as is the heart. But where it starts to get really nice, in my opinion, is that sweet floral musk dry down. And like I said, I'm not super huge on a lot of musk fragrances, but this is one I like. But yeah, definitely guys, this is an 8 out of 10 for me as far as that goes. So I really hope you enjoyed this review. Always rate, comment, subscribe. And be sure to check out FragranceNet as well. I do still have my coupon code over there, Tim9. Does give you an extra 10% off fragrances. And if you wanted to use it, it does help me with my reviews. But I also want to do this with Burberry's Touch. If you like Prada Amber Pour Homme or Versace's The Dreamer, they both have that powdery vibe to it, you will probably like Burberry's Touch. But on the other hand, if you don't like either of those fragrances, you might not want to try this one. This can be a cold weather fragrance, fall or winter, just fine. It's very versatile for the fall or winter. Just make sure you don't over apply this one. Use that application method I showed you. But yeah, that's pretty much the gist of it, guys. Rate, comment, subscribe, and yeah, be sure to tell me what you think at the bottom of this video. And also, the question of the day. What's your favorite Burberry fragrance? Let me know, okay? I'll see you later, guys. Bye.